Welcome everybody. If this is your first time seeing me, welcome to my content, welcome to me, welcome to the channel. If you're an OG, if you've been following me for a hot minute now, I can't believe we're probably, let's say in like content filming world, about 4 years. But this marks a very special time. This is a year later, almost to the day, that I've been doing just me on my own. I have a great community of peers and friends and colleagues that help me along the way, but I'll just say self-employed. I left my job. I gave my notice December 1st, 2017. I'll never forget that day. It was kind of the pinnacle of several months of just continuously feeling undervalued, underappreciated, definitely overworked. And I kind of just got to the point where I was like, this can't be every day. This can't be every day. I can't continue to build somebody else's dream when I know I feel I have so much more to contribute, not only to what they want to build, but for the team that I had built in that organization and the work that I was doing with my own clientele. In a concierge medical practice, we call them patients. I now call them clients, working every day as an exercise physiologist, as a health coach, as a trainer, as a wellness person, whatever. We wore a lot of hats, and that work was very, very important to me. Those people were very, very important to me, but I was just beating my head up against a wall. And in this day and age, like with what you're seeing right here, I was constantly seeing a lot of other people's highlight reels. And luckily, I met some really good people. I got to know them on a real basis, and I got to know that there is the possibility to do your own thing. It's much easier said than done, of just like, screw the man, see you later. I'm just gonna start doing the entrepreneur thing, which is such the cool, trendy word right now. Like I said, I was beating my head up against a wall, and I just knew I could do so much more. And I needed to figure out how. So like a good coach, I was like, all right, gotta set a goal. So I gave myself 90 days. All right, Chase, in 90 days, you've got to be able to replicate not only like the structure, the workflow, but the revenue, the clientele, and do it all on your own. So I would go to work every day, 9 to 5, technically 8 to 5. That's not when the day ended for me. I would come home, I would go to the gym, and then I would come home, I would go back to work. I would wake up early and I would work. I would work nights, weekends, just growing, building my side hustle, right? 60 days later, got to the point to where it was sustainable. I thought I knew what I was doing. Still don't know what I'm doing. It just looks better each and every day. And I'll never forget that day, December 1st, 2017, I had to kind of, put the money where my mouth was, and I had to tell my employer what I've been kind of alluding to for a while, that not only was I not happy, I don't agree with this, I don't agree with that, I feel blah, blah, blah. They were beginning to hire a replacement for me, and I dropped my notice. And I decided that the new year was perfect timing, going into 2018, was gonna be the year where I started doing everything for myself and really testing my potential and testing the potential and the value really of my network and the friendships that I had built, because it was a very fortuitous situation for me, is that I didn't really have to go it alone. I had spent the last year or two fostering relationships, building relationships, getting to know these people who were doing what I wanted to do, being an entrepreneur, starting your own business, going full-time with the podcast, going full-time with my remote coaching business, and then just YouTube and videos and content creation and Instagram and all of these things that everybody does these days. It's very difficult when somebody asks me now, like, what do you do? I'm like, well, how much time do you have? For anybody in like my parents' generation and above, I just tell them I'm a consultant. I'm a multimedia consultant. With a lot of people, especially here in LA now, you can say I'm a podcaster, you can say I'm a YouTuber, you can say I do social media, and they get it. So it's kind of empowering to know that your job is understood by so many other people. But I digress. Here we are, and I have been all over the world. I have continued to find and build new relationships. I've continued to invest in those relationships that were so invaluable, beneficial, crucial for that step for me from full-time to my own thing. It has been a wild, wild ride. And a lot of you watching have been a part of this, and you have seen and heard the good, the bad, the ugly. I've tried to be very transparent in the struggles and the successes and the collaborations and the ideas and everything I've done with Instagram, social media, YouTube, the podcast. It all kind of bleeds over into one. For me, I have the same mission, and that is to just follow my belief system and share that belief system with as many people as possible, because if you don't know by now, Ever4, these two words that you'll probably get to know me for, and you've probably heard a lot if you've seen my content before. It's something that was just boiling up in me. It was this gift, I realized, that it deserved to be shared on a much bigger scale. And this idea of legacy and honor from losing our father years ago, and this message that he instilled in us, it was too big not to share. It was too big for me to just keep to myself. It was too big for me and my family to not grow and expand and continue to build different platforms to share that message. And everything that my family has done with it, are doing with it, and will do, I truly feel we're scratching the surface. And taking that next step, taking that jump, really, the very, very scary jump. My wife could even tell you some scarier parts about it, but shout out to her. Good support system's a must. That jump, that belief in myself, that belief in what I was contributing, the belief in the impact and the relationships, it was self-fulfilling. And it was this tiny little snowball that I was beginning to build when I left my job, and then when I started on my own last year, and then just each program, each offer, each interview, each podcast, each insert any piece of content here began to show me more and more of that potential. And as the year progressed, I began to realize, hey, maybe I know what I'm doing. And then there would be a day where I just scream bloody murder and I want to punch a hole through the wall and call it quits and go back to stability. But the big point I'm trying to make here is that I had my why. I had my belief system. I had done the work on myself, the mindset piece, the personal development, to just know where to fall back to. And if you take nothing else from this, I really hope that you listen and hear that when you look at me, when you look at other people who are even far more successful than me, or just anybody who's maybe doing what you want to do or are very interested in, those people who are going to be around the longest, those people who are going to be the most successful, are the people who have done the self-work. And what you may not always see on my content is the hard times, the dark times, the backstory. A lot of you know that backstory, and I've shared a lot of that, like the significant struggles of losing someone, of watching a very close person in your life, your best friend, your loved one, your father, fight something as brutal as a terminal illness, and to just have that yanked away from you. Where I'm going with this is that the hard times in your life are giving you a gift. There's a lesson in there, and it takes a lot of hard work to get to the point to where you can even ask yourself, what is the gift I'm getting here? What am I not seeing? And that's the work that I did. That's the personal development work that I did. The pains, the obstacles in my life were the way. The obstacle was the way for me. So once I got clarity around who I was and what it was that I had gone through and what my family had gone through and what it was we were given, that self-work, that personal development work, that mindset piece really gave me absolute clarity and was my rock, was my true and authentic self, my why. So anytime I got rough, and there were a lot of rough times last year, if you can get that clear, if you can at least begin to do the work on that, no matter what you want to do, if it's this, if it's video, if it's audio, if it's social media, photography, if it's working for somebody else, but you're working for yourself, but creating content for other people, whatever is inside of you, there is damn sure a way to take your passion and turn it into a profession. If you do it on your own, even if you do it for somebody else, and there's nothing wrong with working for somebody else, getting a 9-to-5, if you feel of value, if you feel your worth is being contributed accurately, if you can wake up every day and be so excited to go to work, that is success for me, whether it's for somebody else or for yourself. If you are growing, or if you're at least pausing to kind of force yourself to grow and ask these questions, what's my state of awareness? What are the struggles I've been through? Am I succeeding? Am I failing? Am I failing forward? No matter what it is you want to do, whatever it is you want to create, it all comes back to the mindset piece for us. to live a life ever forward, that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. I've heard those two words damn near every day for pretty much all of my life. You know, and that was thanks to my father. Not everybody has to go through something difficult like that, and I hope you never do. But the whole point I want to make here, and this is the problem I get when I just sit down and talk, is because I just go everywhere. There is a way to do whatever it is you want in this world. It takes discipline over motivation. It takes goal setting of the smallest scale, even like I'm gonna get up 30 minutes earlier today. I'm gonna take a different route to work. I'm gonna drive a different way. I'm gonna talk to a different person. Just open yourself up to the possibility. Get out of your own way sometimes. Just find a mentor, find someone you can follow online, find a friend, whatever, who's gonna hold you accountable. There's no reason why you can't do what you want to do. There's no reason why you can't go down the road of that thing that is pulling you in that direction. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not gonna be perfect. If you could see my world-class recording studio right now, it is so ghetto rigged. I have like a book holding up my mic stand and then have like a different piece connecting to a different piece. But you know what? I'll get better at it. I'll do better. I'll find a way to do better, to make it sound better, to make it look better. There's always a way to continually work on your craft, on yourself. Don't let perfection, don't let analysis paralysis be your limiting belief, be your barrier. There is a way to do anything you want in this world. And that was part of like the philosophy I was preaching for a long time and coaching people on. I believed, but I wasn't truly living it. And that, to kind of sum everything up, was really when I had to look myself in the mirror that day in December and tell myself and tell my employer and tell these other people around me, goodbye. You know, it's time for me to really go 100% all in on this belief system, on this passion, and just see where it can take me. I have questioned it. There have been days I've wanted to maybe go on Indeed and look up jobs and see what the possibilities are. When I was living in DC, it's not a cheap place to live. I'm living in LA now, not a cheap place to live. But when the financial times got hard, when the daily living got hard, when like insert any part of life here got hard, I went back to my belief system. I went back to what I knew I had to keep doing. And if I didn't have that, I don't think I would be as successful as I am today. And I measure success meaning that like I have clarity around my purpose. I know that every day, whatever I do, whatever I contribute to, whatever I create, whatever I talk about, is contributing to that purpose. And that's how I measure success. And some days I just get to share it on a bigger scale. Some days I get to create something that is very well received. And the most successful days are the days that I connect with another human being, whether it's a client, a peer, a friend, and that is, you know, felt, that is valued. That is shared. That is the greatest form of success for me. And so in that way, I will say that I have been successful beyond my wildest dreams. That has just been the foundation, the building block of the future of this, of everything that I want to create, of everything that my family believes in, and everything that our family will continue to contribute to those two words that are our DNA. It's what we know. We don't know anything else. And so to that, I would say, find that thing for you. It may take a month, it may take a year, it may take 10 years. It truly took me a decade after losing my dad to sort through and find that gift and become embodied by it and empowered by it. Do that first. No matter what you do after that, you'll have no option but to be successful. There's a way to do anything you want. And if I've taught you nothing in this past year, I hope that it at least have been an example of the possibility. If you just set clear goals, hard goals, if you embody what you believe in, if you find people to help you along the way, there's no reason why you cannot start right now, start right today, the one step towards the direction you want to go. You don't need to know steps 1 through 1,000. All you need to do is just take one step, and I promise you that first action, that first step will show you the next one. You'll figure out what to do after that. Again, if nothing else, I hope this has been an example, this storytelling, if you've been watching my content this past year plus, of what is possible when you do the work on yourself, when you do the work necessary, when you trust so much in the process and just believe and know that that prize will come down the road, whatever it is, whatever success means to you. Again, thank you to everyone for watching this. Thank you for everyone who's been a part of my journey and my family's journey thus far. Everything we do at Ever Forward is just meant to honor a memory and a legacy of someone that meant the world to us. And we hope that that comes across, and we hope that we do him and it justice and continue on that legacy. And we hope that you take it and apply it to your life and make it whatever it is you need. And let that be your motivation, your inspiration, whatever it is you need to take action. And I promise you this is just the beginning. 2019 is already looking very promising, and we're finding new and amazing ways to just continue to expand and bring the message to various platforms. So to that I say thank you, and I'll end it with Ever Forward. And I would love to just kind of write off, sign off, whatever. I don't use my words good, but we're just gonna keep it here. Sign off on the video here, because I think a very other important part, I hope you got this in my message earlier, is that there's no scarcity mindset here. I think that's another problem that a lot of people develop or have, and that you think what you create is yours, and I don't want anybody in because I'm afraid they're gonna take my ideas. But trust me, there are people out there who do a much better job at certain things than you, and you do much better jobs than other people. So no scarcity mindset, take that and apply that to everything you want to do, and I promise you will go much further. You will build the relationships you need. Trust me, you need them, and probably the ones that you want. Not only find ways to serve your audience and create the things that you want to create to serve yourself as well, but man, if you can build that environment along the way, I promise you, you will be much more successful. You will have way more opportunities. And it's just a damn good feeling to know that the work you're doing contributes to not only your success, but the success of others, because we're all in this together. So I want to give a very special thanks to the crew here, Mr. Robbie Boyd behind the camera today. It's just been a great pleasure. Literally, the power of this right here, just being able to reach out. Did you see my text? Don't look at my text. The power to reach out this day and age to anybody and everybody. If you have an idea, this is the path to do it, okay? You don't need a giant fancy camera. You don't need any of this. The first 2 years of all my filmmaking, if you want to call it, was this. You know, shout out Rob Lipset. He has even gone on record stating the first couple years of his filming, his YouTube channel, he would tape up his iPhone on the wall. You don't need perfection, you don't need a lot of things, but what you do need is just the ability to say yes, the ability to take action, and the ability to build the relationships along the way. So thank you again to Robbie. Thank you again to anybody and everybody who has been a part of my journey thus far. Thank you for watching right now. And again, I'll leave it at Ever Forward.